that. Just before we get started, I'm going to introduce who the actual stars of the training are tonight. You may have noticed from the front slide, I love my dogs, and I use AI to replicate particularly one of my dogs, Rocco, in a lot of my branding. He's the star. I've actually got three Italian Greyhounds. Rocco is the beautiful silver and white one. I've got Enzi, who is a little 4-month-old puppy, and then tucked at the very bottom there is Sienna, my 14-year-old blind and a bit demented Italian Greyhound. So they're the stars of tonight. They'll be up there plenty. Now, how to get the most out of this training. Number one is no distractions. So if you've got the TV on in the background, turn it off or turn it down. Don't be scrolling on your phone. Don't have other tabs open. I want you to play full out for the whole hour because I'm going to be giving you all like it back. Please don't be a ghost. Comment in the chat. Take plenty of notes because that's how you get the most out of this. Like I said, I love engagement. I love comments. I love feedback. So tell me what you're enjoying. Tell me what you want to see, all that kind of stuff, and I'll just keep giving value as we go. And if you write a question in there and I can't get to it during the presentation, don't worry, I will get to it as we go through. Amazing. So I've also got a bit of a prize. Sorry, if someone's got tech issues, I'm just letting him in. Um, Happening tonight, it's a $1,500 giveaway. If you would like to enter, it's very, very simple. Take a beautiful selfie of yourself at this training. Tag me on Instagram at russell.gilbert.coaching in your Instagram story, and I'll pick out a winner tomorrow and I'll message you with the prize. It's going to be amazing. So take a selfie, pop me in your story and tag me. That's how easy it is to enter. And if you do that, you'll go into the draw to win, which will be amazing. And also, if you do the same thing on Facebook, I'll include you in the draw as well. Awesome. So let's see who's going to get the most out of this training. So this training is for you if you want to sign 2 premium clients in the next 7 days. If that's you, write yes in the chat. Is that anyone here? John's keen, Simon, Annette. Yes, great. If you want to use AI in the right way, you want it to amplify you. You don't want to sound like a robot. This is for you. If you want to create systems that generate consistent leads in your coaching business, or maybe you're upset people are ghosting you or that kind of stuff, this is for you. Maybe you're having trouble getting people to buy from you, or you're just not making the money you want to in your coaching business. This is for you too. This is also for you. Maybe you don't know who your niche is and you want some help with that. You'll get clarity tonight. Maybe you don't know how to market or build your brand, or you want to finally get rid of self-sabotage holding you back, or maybe you've tried lots of stuff and it just feels like nothing's working. Who this is not for tonight. If you're not going to take any action, I'm sorry, you're probably not going to get any results from this. I could give you the best post in the world, right? But if you don't click post, it's not going to help. So we want to take action from tonight. Maybe you're already earning over 50K per month in your business. This probably isn't for you. Also, if you don't have the desire to be a coach, or you don't want to help people, or you don't want more leads for your business, this isn't for you. Or if you don't want to help people, this isn't for you either. Now, I want you to think, what would your business look like if you had consistent, predictable stream of new leads who are eager to work with you? And if that happens, you can do what every coach loves and focus on delivering results for your clients instead of spending all your time worrying about where your next client will come from. And I'm going to break that down for you in a few minutes. This is what we're going to cover. First, we're going to cover how to effortlessly get you 2 premium clients in the next 7 days. We want you to become the authority in your niche and have prospects reaching out to you. I'm going to show you how to implement a messenger chat sequence that helps get people onto a sales call in 4 messages. I also want to show you how you can get people on the phone with you and sell to them in a way that doesn't feel salesy as well. Now, what makes this training a bit different is I'm not going to sell you anything. There's no pitch at the end. There's nothing for sale. I just want to show you some proven content and strategies that'll show you a clear path to generating leads on demand. However, if you want me to personally help you implement any of these strategies in your business, I'm offering a limited number of one-on-one free calls with myself. If you're interested, type success in the chat and someone from my team will give you the link to reserve your spot. So if you're interested in that, type success in the chat. As I've only got a limited number of these, early bookers always get me. Late bookers don't get me guaranteed. So if you're keen, write success in the chat and someone from my team will reach out to you. Amazing. Okay. Kai did this. She worked with me, and in her first month, made 13 grand, which was amazing. And that was banked cash. We did a launch together. She booked 18 calls, which was incredible. She posted a lot. She didn't know how to get people onto sales call. She's kept this going. She sells a 4K program, did 3 sales in 3 days when I caught up with her a couple of weeks ago. And one of the strategies she used really helped her blow up on Instagram. She's getting about probably 6 million to 2 million views a month, which is incredible. She was doing so well that someone asked her if she'd launch a how to go viral on Instagram thing. She asked me, I said, just do it, right? And 4 people signed up before she'd even created the course, which is incredible. So amazing. All right, cool. So after spending 120K on my own development in the last 3 years, these are some things I've discovered. It is possible to get from 0 to 10K per month, even up to 30K per month in less than 3 months, but you need 3 things. First, you need the right niche, you need the right scalable program, and you need a way to get leads. Because there's basically only ever 4 problems in your business, right? The first one is generating leads. The second one is how to get those leads onto sales calls. The third is how to close the sales calls. And the last is how to fulfill them and do the coaching. Then when you want to scale, goes back to problem number 1 again, more leads, right? Then a new way to convert them onto sales calls and a more efficient way to close the sales, right? So it's just the same 4 problems. Most people focus most on number 4, what I'm going to do with my clients before they've even generated the leads, right? But you obviously can't fulfill clients if you don't get leads first, right? Most coaches I speak to don't have the right niche, or they're trying to help everyone. They don't have a program that's scalable, and they don't get enough leads to fill their calendar. And so why stick around to the end of this training? If you stick around, I'll know you're keen, and I'm offering a free gift that's worth $330. Amazing. All right. Does this sound like anyone in here? It certainly used to be me. You don't have a system to generate leads on demand. So sometimes people kind of reach out to you, or maybe you post and you don't hear anything back, or, that's what I used to do a lot of, just posting and hoping until somebody told me, like, if I was going fishing, would you just stand on the jetty and hope the fish jumped up to you? Probably not, right? Maybe you rely on word of mouth. And because of that, sometimes you get quite a few clients, sometimes you get none. Or maybe, and this one used to be my big problem, you don't know what to say on a sales call. And so you either push too hard. I didn't really do that. I just let people away, and sometimes I wouldn't even pitch to them because I had all these sales blocks, right? Or maybe you're not 100% clear on your niche. And a niche is just like a group of people who share similarities. So it might be people with the same problem, similar interests, values, age, gender, fears, likes, desires. And I was certainly in this category when I started. I wanted to help everyone. And so I didn't niche down. And I just did all these kind of random inspirational posts. And it didn't resonate with anyone. Or maybe you don't have accountability. So you have days where you're super motivated and you take action. And then you have other days where you don't do anything. Or maybe you use the post and hope strategy. That was mine. You post and you hope that people will reach out to you. Or maybe you're underpricing your services, and some of you guys might not even know you are, or you don't believe you're worth what you charge. Or maybe you're just not confident you can get results for your clients. And I want you to know that I know what it's like. And I've been where you are, and I want to show you what works for me and what works for my clients. So I'll tell you a bit about my story. I used to be a primary school teacher for 15 years, and I worked at a category one school, which is the lowest socioeconomic. And during my time, like the school I taught at, there was a prison in the town, lots of domestic violence, and it's pretty much all the kids who got kicked out and suspended from the other schools came to the school I was at. And after about 5 years, I was pretty burnt out, and I was like, I need a new job. And then I got offered a leadership job, and I was like, wow, it's 30 grand a year more. I'm going to put all this proactive stuff in place and it's going to be amazing. And what happened was I ended up basically doing no proactive stuff. It was just behavior management between 9 and 3, dealing with angry parents, and then all the admin outside in my own hours. And I was, if I wasn't burnt out before, I certainly got burnt out after that, 7 years of that. And during that time, I got stabbed. I had chairs thrown at me, got whipped with a skipping rope, bitten, spat on, had parents threaten to kill my children, all sorts of fun stuff. And we had this event where a little boy went out for recess and he came back. He had a severe asthma attack and he died at school. And I just kind of ignored it, like, as in, I didn't deal with any of the emotional pain. I just kept turning back up to work and I started drinking a lot, like 5 liters of beer every Friday and Saturday night to kind of numb the pain. And I always told myself that if I just changed schools, everything would fix for me. And you guys would all know as coaches, we all just bring our shit with us, right? And so I got a new job at a new school and I still felt not good enough. I still felt afraid that I was going to make mistakes and do the wrong thing and upset people. And the universe will scratch us with a feather. And if we ignore the feather, it drops a brick on our head. And if we ignore the brick, it sends a bus, right? And I got hit by the bus at my new school. And I saw that the system didn't care for me. And I'd sacrificed my health and my family and lots of things for school. And I was like, this is crap. I need to find something else. And so the universe puts people in our path. I reached out, I got help from a coach, and I got amazing results. But then I took a year's leave without pay, and I was like, I'm going to be a coach. I'm going to help people. And yeah, I my wife was just coming back to work, and I was like, I'm going to get a coach after I signed so many clients. And for the first 4 months, I didn't sign any clients, and I was on the verge of going back to school. And it got to the point like I'd done a lot of sales calls in a row that were all no's, and I was ready to quit and give up on my dream. And my wife, like, bless her soul, said to me, what do you need, Russell? What do you need? We'll find a way. And I was like, I need to learn how to do sales and marketing because there were other people who were at this course and that I'd done, and they knew how to do sales and marketing. They weren't a better coach than me, but they just knew how to do sales and marketing. And so they were getting results in their business. And as soon as I borrowed money off my mum, I sold some things. And as soon as I learned how to do the sales and marketing, everything changed. Within a couple of months, I got my business consistently hitting 10 to 15K a month helping teachers. And after about 6 months working with this coach, I kind of break the wheel and look for the most efficient ways to do things. And after about 6 months working with this coach, other people in the group were asking me how to do things, and he pretty much said to me, Russell, stop helping teachers, start helping coaches. And then I had to get past the imposter syndrome of that, right? um, but now that's what I do, and I love it. And so I know, yeah, one of my big whys is I never want anyone to have to give up on their dream like I almost did. Um, so yeah, and I also got to call my principal and resign from my permanent teaching job, which was amazing as well. So yeah, incredible. So why are the majority of coaches, and I speak to a lot of coaches, failing to earn 10K a month? The first thing I want you to know is it's not your fault, right? A lot of you are not taught like when you do your coaching qualifications, how to market yourself. And most business coaches now get the majority of their clients from ads. They've done the organic to get started, right? But it's old stuff that doesn't work anymore. And so they don't give you a proven system that's up to date to follow and generate leads to get paid clients. It ends up costing you time, money, and you're left with empty promises. You might end up focusing on the wrong thing at the wrong time. So you might worry about building a website when you don't even have a way to drive traffic there. You might do what I used to do. I used to spend a lot of time on Canva doing banners and backgrounds and pretending I was running a business, being real busy. My wife would be like, "What have you done today?" And I'm like, "I'm on the computer all day doing this and this and this." And really, I was just doing stuff that wasn't ever going to sign me clients. Um, and then most of us also haven't broken through some of the fears or self-belief that are holding us back. And so yeah, we spend a lot of time focusing on the wrong thing at the wrong time. And as a result of that, most of us don't even have a plan or know what actions we need to take to get two clients in the next 7 days. And we haven't reverse engineered a step-by-step process of what needs to happen to achieve our goals. And so that's a big one. So write in the chat, who's got a reverse engineered plan to sign two clients in the next 7 days? Okay, well, how's it going to happen if we don't have a plan? That's, I love the honesty in here. Amazing. And so your plan is Russell, great plan, Jeremy. I like it. Stephen's got one, good. Um, all right, cool. Now, one of the other things that's important to realize is our subconscious mind is actually designed to keep us safe, right? And keeping us safe is keeping us exactly where we are. Who's noticed that? That sometimes an unknown heaven seems scarier than a known paradise. And so, in order to change, we have to actually make it worse to be where we are than where we want to be, right? So, I want you to think about what are some of the negative consequences for you emotionally, financially, maybe in your health or your relationships or your family life, or maybe you want to donate to social causes, right? What are the consequences for not having a reverse engineered plan? For me, it was going back to work, and that meant failure, right? That meant me not good enough, not providing for the family, being behind on the mortgage. That was very painful for me as someone who likes providing for my family. All right, amazing. So yeah, freedom, Heather. Financial stress, 100% Allison. Um, I want you to know signing your next two paying clients, 100% Brett. Oh, you guys are amazing. I love this. Signing your next two paying clients is about having a clearly defined niche, expert copywriting skills, a rock solid program, and building an organic lead generation machine that allows you to choose the hours you work and get paid for changing people's lives. Who's up for that? Amazing. If you're ready, type ready in the chat. We're going to get into the training. We want you guys to be like Rocco here on his sunbed, living the dream. All right, amazing. Some quick stats. Did you know that the average life coach makes 30 grand a year? It's not amazing. Also, that 80% of Australians go broke in retirement. Now, especially we're getting that beautiful super tax as well, um, which is crap. Anyway, um, and we'll be on a pension of less than 200 bucks a week. And some other stats as well, right? 50% of coaches quit within year one. I know from when I did my training, a lot of the coaches who I did my training with aren't coaches anymore. 80% quit by year five, 96% quit by year 10, right? And did you also know that your chances of unemployment in a variety of industries is increasing year on year? Who can write in the chat why they think that is? Massimo's got it. AI. Um, I just before I jumped on, I read an article about a person who does coding who can't get a job now because AI can code better than people. And so here are some jobs that are going to shift with AI and robotics. Data entry, gone. Telemarketers and customer service reps, chatbots, virtual assistants. They're already replacing human agents. Retail cashiers, we see that at Coles and Woolies, they're gone. Paralegals and legal assistants. Grok gives you better legal advice than most lawyers at the moment. Journalists and content writers, they're going. Stuff ChatGPT can generate news articles. Factory and warehouse workers, they're going. Medical transcriptions and radiologists, like you can put your scans into AI and it gives you better advice than a doctor does. Can detect abnormally more accurate than humans. And so jobs that involve repetitive tasks, predictable patterns, and data processing, they're the most vulnerable. But human-centric roles like coaching, therapy, creative problem solving, high-level strategy are going to continue to thrive because AI lacks emotional intelligence and deep critical thinking. Can't do it as well as us. And coaching is actually the second fastest growing industry in the world, which is amazing. And that's due to things like COVID. More people than ever are prioritizing personal growth, mindset work, and mental health. And coaching fills a gap that therapy and traditional education doesn't cover. And it gives direct results. You guys are proof of that, right? Who's here's had coaching and had amazing results? Me, right? As well. Um, maybe Brett, although they might not have any money. Um, Job uncertainty, right, is another reason people need coaching. They need clarity. AI and automations are replacing jobs across industries, and people are searching for new paths. Once it gives them control over their future, and coaching's career that allows for financial independence, impact, and fulfillment. Um, Remote work and digital business. So the ability to coach has removed location barriers. Like we said in the chat, we've got people in here all over the world tonight, which is phenomenal. Um, AI can provide, people crave human connection, right? And personalized support. AI gives information, but if you have a conversation with AI, you don't just want knowledge, do you? You want personal connection, you want empathy and support. And that's something only a human coach can offer. And I know when I work with people, coaching always gives a higher return on investment than what people pay, right? I've cleared out anxiety for someone that's had like 20 years of anxiety. And this was when I started and I was only charging 2 grand. How good a value is that for someone, right? And so the best investments are the one that create transformation. Coaching helps people unlock their potential, creates breakthroughs and changes their lives. And that's why clients are willing to pay premium prices for the right mentor. And don't worry, AI won't replace coaching. But coaches who don't adapt to AI will struggle. So AI is a tool, it's not a threat. It's good for automating tasks, streamlining processes, but it won't replace the deep human to human transformation that coaching provides. However, coaches who don't evolve with the technology, who resist rather than leverage it, are going to get left behind. Okay, so step one. I'm talking too much already. My throat's getting dry. I just got back from coaching my daughter's football where I had to yell a lot. So step number one is post niche specific content on your social media pages and groups. And so the concept is really simple. First, you want to find groups where your target market is hanging around in. This could be on Facebook. This could be on Instagram. This could be on LinkedIn. Then we want to post valuable content that educates your audience and shows you're the authority in your space and gets people interested in your services. And people say to me, Russell, I'm not sure if I should niche, right? And I always ask them, well, if you were going to, like a lot of people say, I'm a life coach, right? If you were really struggling with your relationship, would you go to a life coach or would you go to the relationship specialist, right? I know who I'd go to. If you had a growth on your skin, like a skin abnormality, would you want to go to the GP or would you want to go to the skin specialist? Who are you going to go to? If you had heart problem, would you want to go see the heart surgeon or would you want to talk to a GP? Right? You'd want to go to the specialist. And so the more you can appear as a specialist, the more high quality people with the problem you solve you're going to attract, right? And so you post your niche specific content that educates your audience, shows you're the authority in your space, and gets people interested in your service. After that, you schedule a call with the people who show interest. I'll show you how to do that shortly. And lastly, you use a script that allows you to build a genuine connection and make the sale. And I'll also be showing you this too. The analogy I like to use is it's like fishing, right? And I want you to know there's a formula to these posts that almost guarantees high engagement and gets people excited to reach out to you. So the metaphor I like to think of is it's like fishing. If you want to catch a certain species of fish, right, you need to go to the right fishing spots. Then you need to use the right bait and have the right hook, size, line, reel, etc. If you're just trying to go and catch any fish, what's the likelihood of you catching the one you want? It's probably pretty low, right? I'm going to use an Australian example. If I want to catch King George whiting, I'm hardly going to go fishing in the Murray River. The odds of catching a King George whiting in the Murray River are pretty low, right? But I see a lot of coaches do this. They're going to like the Murray River, which is their local buy, swap, and sell group, and posting in there, right? Where, like, let's say I used to help teachers. Am I going to find them on the buy, swap, and sell page? Um, no, I'm going to find them in specific teacher groups. I'm going to find them on LinkedIn. I'm going to find them engaging with creators who appeal to teachers. Yeah, there'd be lots of Murray cod in there, but no whiting for sure. So step one, find out where they live, because then you can go be really specific and targeted. Step two, we want to use the right bait. If we're not using the right bait that talks the language that our audience wants to hear, they're not going to eat it up. And then we need a message sequence to reel them in. And so the old result is you do generalized posts to a general market. It doesn't talk to anyone. You get low likes and engagement, really low interest. It's not influential. You get a low number of leads and your content doesn't stand out. And I also see another trend at the moment of lots of ChatGPT posts, and I'm going to go into this in a bit, that are really obviously vanilla ChatGPT posts, right? Similar as, but anyway, I'll get into that. The new way is we want to be posting really niche specific content. We want it to be in the language that your audience uses in their own head. If you can do that, you have high engaging copy that influences people, and you'll get people reaching out to you, um, wanting to work with you. You stand out as the authority, you get high engagement, it positions you as the high value brand, really resonates with your target market. People can get more value, they feel really heard, understood, trust is high. You become an authority and you get a much higher number of leads, and your following grows at a faster rate. A great example of this is like a restaurant. If you go past a restaurant and the restaurant is empty, do you perceive that as being a high value restaurant or a low value restaurant? High, low. What do we perceive it as? Low value, right? Um, and so if you go past a full one, you're like, wow, that restaurant would be amazing because it's perceived as high value. Now, if I started speaking about how good the food is, you might read it, right? But some of you might be vegans, some might be carnivores, some might be vegetarians, some might be gluten-free, etc., 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 right? But if you're vegetarian and I did a post about vegetarian food, do you think you'd be more likely to read something about it than a general meal or a special vegetarian meal? You'd be more likely, right? Then if I showed you some social proof of people loving the vegetarian meal, what would that do? It would build trust, right? And so I want to show you this principle in action. These are a couple of posts I've done well when I used to work with teachers. These posts took me less than 20 minutes to write, because I use proven templates. And just these two posts alone got over 80 people into my Facebook group and made $9,000 in sales, which is pretty incredible. I want you to write in the chat, what are some things you notice about those two posts first? What's the first thing you notice about them? Same t-shirt. Yeah, I only wear one. Yep, I'm in there. Great, John. So first thing, are they just stock photos? No, they're photos of me, right? So when I scroll on social media, and that's what most people do on social media, they scroll, right? The amount of stock images and stuff I have to scroll past, right, doesn't stop the scroll. What stops the scroll is a human face, because that's what people are longing to see. So the first job of the photo is to stop the scroll. So both photos are of me and I'm looking at the camera. It was actually on the same day I took the photos. I go out, whenever I go out somewhere, I take a lot of selfies. My wife hates it. It's pretty funny. Um, but the job of the photo is to stop the scroll. So you've got to be in it. What's the second thing we notice after the photo? Someone said it before. There was niche specific. So the two headlines, it's time to end Sunday sadness and retake your Sunday night. Does that sound like a teacher problem? Yeah, because I used to have a lot of anxiety on Sundays. So my audience, that one got 379 likes, 40 comments, right? The next one, very specific. The number one mistake I see teachers make when setting boundaries. Very niche specific, right? Compare that to this post. And I see these kind of posts all the time. What do you notice about this post? In the chat, what do we notice? Yeah, it's just a random sunset. Oh, the emojis, Brett. The emojis, death by emoji. Yeah, it's Chat GPT made, general. So what gives it away that this is a Chat GPT post? There's the M dash. I hate the M dash. Yep. The 1, 2, 3. Sometimes you can do them. The death by M dash. Yeah, too many emojis. Yep. Um, there's also like if it's perfect grammar, it lacks natural errors. It might feel overstructured. Um, death by a million hashtags at the bottom. I'll give you a hot tip. Facebook doesn't need any hashtags. They don't actually do anything. So don't put hashtags on Facebook, right? That's just a dead giveaway. There might be repetitive phrasing in there, might be generic. There's no personal story, right? Not in there once is mentioned anything about a story. AI loves certain phrases. So when I did this one, I had a bit of fun with it. I asked ChatGPT to write me a terrible post that a coach might write. But in here, they love writing like drop yes below if you're ready to step into your greatness. Here's the truth, is always a giveaway. It's time to step into your power. All those corny, overused phrases are there. There's also, it's vanilla, it's balanced and neutral. Um, AI tends to use formal content, neat lists. It over explains things. There's no emotional depth. These are some of its phrases, right? So if you ever use ChatGPT and it says step into your power, change it. Unlock your potential. No. Now is the time. What's holding you back? Take the leap. You're not alone. Yeah, don't use any of that. Now compare it to this post, right? What do we notice about this one in comparison? What do we notice? Less emojis. I don't think there's any emojis. Now, there's nothing wrong with emojis. It's got me and my daughter in it. That's probably going to stop the scroll. Um, and if we look at the content, now I've got to look real close because it's real small on my screen. Um, actually, I might look on this one. Who I was is not who I am. There was a time not so long ago where you would have found me sitting on the lounge room floor, completely drained, empty, watching my son play and feeling like I have nothing left to give. Feeling like I needed to drink 5 liters of beer every Friday and Saturday night so I didn't have to face my thoughts and feelings. On the outside, I looked like I had it together, a successful school leader, a hard worker, a good provider. But inside, I was crumbling. Suddenly, is that does that sound bland or vanilla, or does it tell my story? And I want you to tell you as well, both of those posts were written by ChatGPT, right? And so what I'm going to show you in a sec is how to use ChatGPT to write quality posts, right? Who's up for that? And using AI tools now, if you use them well, I can write a month's worth of content in about 2.5 hours, which is pretty incredible, right? And so I'm going to give you some hints now. The first hint fits in beautifully with my theme tonight. AI is just like a dog. And what I mean by that is I've got two puppies. When I got them, I didn't expect them to be perfect. I had to train them, right? Jeremy's got it. So AI is the same. You need to train it. And so if you want to train it to write quality posts, number one, it needs to know your story and it needs to know you. And the more you can get it to ask you questions about your story, the better your posts are going to be and the more it's going to be able to include your content. And it's only as good as the instructions you give it as well. If I just say to my dog, sit, it's just might sit, right? But if I get a treat and I hold it under its nose and I lift the treat up and I show it exactly what to do, the dog's going to learn faster, and AI is the same, right? So if you want to write good posts, you need to be clear on the outcome. Ask yourself, what do I want this to do? Who's it for? What should it sound like? And you tell ChatGPT something like, write a persuasive caption for Instagram for business coaches about overcoming fear of visibility. Make it conversational, not formal, include a strong call to action. You also need to give it context. Include details about your audience. Are they female coaches, new business owners, career changers? You need to tell it the purpose, to get DMs, sell a program, teach something. You need to tell it tone or style, like I'm talking to a smart friend, like I'm talking to someone who reads at a fifth grade level. If you're the advertiser, right? That's how they write. Um, you'll get much better responses if you say, like, I help coaches attract premium clients with mindset and systems. I'm launching a free training and want a value post that builds trust. Can you write it with a vulnerable story and a strong call to action? Use examples or templates. If you like a particular post, email, or hook, paste it in and say, can you write one like this, but about imposter syndrome? Or this caption worked. Can you make 3 similar ones for my new offer? You can also use prompt formulas like, give me a list of 10 Instagram hooks that do this, or act like a business coach who helps, etc. Create a carousel that outlines that. And then always refine. So your first result doesn't have to be your final one. Add things like make it more emotional. Rewrite it with less fluff and more authority. Simplify the language so it's more natural. Give me 3 shorter versions. You can also say things like, that's close, but I want it to sound more like this. Also, you want to avoid like vague prompts. Don't open ChatGPT and say, oh, write me some content. Give me ideas. Help me with my business. They're too broad. You'll get vanilla results. Instead, sharpen it. Like, give me 5 story-based post ideas for coaches who feel stuck at 5K per month and want to grow organically. That's step 1. Step 2, always try and weave your story into the post. So you've got to take time um, and take whatever it spits out and personalize it. It's not going to replace you. It's going to amplify you. Also, you need to know your target market better than AI. AI is never going to use the right words that your clients speak in their head. So you need to know what's keeping them up at night. You need to know what language they use and how they say it in their head. And you need to edit your posts accordingly. I say it again, never use stock images. You're the brand. You sell. Your image stops the scroll and builds trust. And always edit your content. Take out those M dashes, right? If I see posts that are full of M dashes, straight away I know it's ChatGPT. Some people say they've always written with them. Bullshit, your keyboard doesn't even have an M dash, right?
The
Um,
name.
M dash is the big long dash. That's like 2 dashes put together. That ChatGPT, if you do anything, always has in them. So that's what an M dash is. Um, you won't find it on your keyboard because it doesn't have them, but ChatGPT constantly puts it in everything. Um, Also take out the emojis if they don't feel good, or take out the overused phrases as well, and use specific prompts, because what you put in the back end, you get out. And I don't have time tonight, but one of the things I do with my clients is I help them actually create GPTs, their own custom GPTs, and we can upload a whole lot of stuff in the back end um, to help them become more personalized. Um, but get it to ask some questions about you, learn your style, be precise with your prompts, talk to it like you're explaining a task to your kids, right? The more precise you are, the better results you're going to get. Okay, amazing. Now, once you've done good content, that's the first step. You've stopped the scroll, people have liked or they've commented on your posts. But what now? Likes and comments don't get you sales. You need to actually reach out and talk to people. And this is the part people find difficult. James was like that, one of my clients. He was a Jim's life coach. I don't know if you guys know Jim's Mowing. You would if you're from Australia. Jim's actually do life coaching. He paid for a franchise fee. He was paying per lead off their website and wasn't making any money. If he'd make a sale, it would sometimes cost him more money to make the sale than it would, because it would cost him to buy so many leads. We implemented these strategies, and in the first 2 months working with me, James made 28 grand, which is amazing. And more importantly, he's helping lots of people, which is amazing. Now, a lot of people get triggered with messaging because they fear rejection, or maybe they don't want to come across as salesy. But if we don't start conversations, we can't help people, right? I know if you guys are anything like me, you've probably had bad experiences with spammy messages. Has everyone in here received a spammy message or two? Particularly
Yes.
when you've announced, hopefully not from me. Um,
No.
but I know when I became a coach, the first thing that happened to me was my inbox got bombarded every day with thousands of people trying to sell me their VAs and funnels and this and that, and OnlyFans. I get that a bit as well. Um, but what I want you to remember, most people have had bad experiences with spammy messages, so their guard's up. It's not about you, it's just about your past experiences. Um, Also, some people get triggered because they get a bit defensive. They know they need help but aren't ready to take action. And if your message feels robotic or like a pitch, people will ignore it. People want real connection, not a sales script. So, how do we do DMs that feel good, right? Because after you get people interested, your next goal is to get them onto a sales call with you. And so, to do this, we're going to use my proven messenger chat sequence template that causes people to gain rapport with you and trust you. And so, how do we do this? We want to focus on starting a conversation, not making a sale. If you come from a place of service rather than I'm trying to sell a product, people will feel like it, right? They'll feel it. Also, you want to personalize your message. So, you mention something specific about them, their work, or their content. Um, and you can engage with their posts if you like. So, when you DM, they recognize you. And if you're actually afraid of messaging people, you're actually holding back from helping them. Your next client could actually be someone who's engaged in your post, but you just haven't messaged. And 99% of people won't actually reach out to you. They require you to start a conversation with them. All right. And when you follow this word for word, this chat sequence can get people on calls in just 4 messages. And once you understand these psychological principles, you'll start to notice them used by lots of biggest brands and influential people. And so some people will say to me, like, Russell, I don't want to harass people. Have you ever felt that when you're thinking about messaging people? I don't want to harass them. Who in
Yeah.
here has thought that?
Yeah.
That used to be a big thought for me. I don't want to harass people as well. Um, However, I've done some posts and people have commented on them, and I messaged them, right? And a couple of them actually said to me, Russell, when you messaged me, it was like a sign because I've been wanting help for ages, but I've been too scared to ask, right? And that really, I took a lot on from that because who am I to decide whether people need help or not? People can say no, but they can't say yes if you don't ask them, right? And so for me, I've detached emotion. If people don't want my help, amazing. I don't really mind, right? But people can't get help if I don't ask. And so the old way is you wait for people to message you about your programs, or maybe you might inbox strangers and people you know on social media in the wrong way to buy your stuff. And if you're doing that, you'll probably get low numbers of leads, and the ones you message will ghost you or they won't respond. And when you do get people's phone numbers, you don't get many sales. The new way is through Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You can message sequence people who engage in your content in a way that builds a genuine connection with them, influences them, and causes to buy from you on the phone or sometimes without even a phone. One of my clients recently signed someone up over Messenger, which is pretty amazing. And the new way is you generate way more leads, get way more sales, and lots more paid clients. Write in the chat if you're keen on seeing the message connection formula. I should have got a bigger bottle of water. Um, Looks like you guys are keen. Amazing. And so Firstly, it's really difficult, right? If somebody likes or comments on your post, you send them a message and say, hey, their name, thanks for liking my post. I really appreciate it. Pretty spammy, right? You might ask what really resonated with you. Then when they answer, you just ask them a question, right? You might chat with them for a message or two, and then you just ask them an opening question like, for people who engage in my posts, is it cool if I send you some free value from my client library? Um, and they might be, yeah. And you're like, cool. Is it okay if I ask a couple of questions so I know what to send? And if they say no, thanks, you're like, okay, cool. I've got a Facebook group where I post a lot of similar value content. Would you like to join that? And they're like, yep, that's what we do if they're cold. If they're warm, you might ask them what their goals are over the next 6 to 12 months and what's their biggest challenge they're dealing with right now. Then if they tell you and you feel like you've got a way you could solve their problem, this is direct messaging, Simon. So I don't do this on my posts. I just jump into Messenger. I might comment back to their comment, but then I would reply in Messenger. And then depending on if you feel like you can help them with what they've brought up as their biggest challenge or issue they're facing at the moment, you can offer them a call to give them free piece of value content. And from there, you're on a sales call with people, which is amazing, right? And the amazing thing as well is ChatGPT can actually be used to enhance the connection message formula, which is amazing because you can train ChatGPT to become an AI powered appointment setter that uses your voice, conversational style to send personalized messages based on their profile and using the principles discussed on the previous slides. And this becomes really powerful when it's time to scale because AI can actually read people's profiles. It can create comments on their posts and create personalized messages based on their profile information. And this becomes really powerful when you've got a VA, right? Because then the VA can use the AI in your voice, which is super powerful. Um, Amazing. Now, we get them on a sales call, but have you ever got on a sales call and have no idea what to say? Uh, I used to be awful at this. So tonight I want to show you the exact process I use for closing 33% of high ticket sales calls, which is amazing. And so um, if you were really certain, you've got questions, Heather, we'll go through them at the end if you like. Will that help? Um, if you were so certain people would buy from you, would you want to get on a call with them? If you were like 100% certain someone was going to buy your coaching program, would you get on a call with them? Yeah, I see lots of nodding. Oh, you've got questions. Okay, no worries. Um, so what you've got to do then is let go of caring whether they buy or not, right? Because if you like you can't make the sale. One of the best things I did for my closing rate was letting go of the outcome. I don't care if people buy or not, right? And as soon as you come from that place of not caring, you're actually coming from a better energy, right? Think about like who in here has been to Bali or Thailand or I've been to Morocco and Tunisia, it's the same. Um, when you get out of the airport, do the taxi drivers care if you say no when they ask you to jump in their taxi? No, right? They don't care about rejection. They'll almost tackle you to try and get you in their car. And that's because they believe in the value of what they sell. So we've got to channel our inner Bali taxi driver at Denpasar Airport, right? And go out and eat rejection for breakfast. So we've got to let go of caring about these calls. And so the model I want to use is called the connection call, right? And the reason I call it the connection call is because, and this is where people can get triggered, right? And one of the important frames you have is the name for your call. So when you think about it, it shouldn't be a sales call. It should be a connection call, a change your life call, a clarity call, a strategy call, a breakthrough call, whatever you want to call it, because your intention here is to look for a problem you can solve. And in exchange for solving that problem, you're going to ask them for money, right? And money is just energy. And it's just energy in terms of value being exchanged with energy in terms of money, energy being exchanged for energy, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just magical. And so the more you come at that, right? The more problems you can solve, the more money you're going to make in your business, right? When I was running a business that was doing $50 a month, I wasn't solving many problems. I was creating a lot for myself. When I was running, or when I'm running a 30K a month business, right, I'm solving a lot more problems. Um, and I know other people that are running 300K a month businesses and they're solving much more problems than me, right? And so the more problems you solve, the more energy you're going to get back in return. So one of my clients used this script, right? She used this formula I'm going to show you. She'd never done a sales call before in her life. And she messaged me and she's like, I got my first client. I'm like, amazing. How much did you sell your program for? And she's like, well, I failed, right? I sold it for 1,500, but the person told me she would have paid $2,000, right? And it was all just about confidence. She just followed it, right? Which is amazing. Um, so basically, once you've got them on the call, it's time to make the sale. And this is where you create the value in your business. This is where the value comes from. Most coaches hate sales calls when starting out, and that's because they don't know what to say, or maybe they don't believe in the value of what they offer, or they're not certain people will buy. And so that's why I created a word for word script for coaches to follow. Number one, builds rapport, demonstrates how your coaching can solve their problems, and makes your service the next logical step. And when done correctly, it won't feel like you're selling, but rather you're just solving their problem with your solution. And oftentimes people will ask how they can get started before you even tell them the price. And the script positions your service in a way that money's no longer an objection, even if your services are priced high. And so the pre-frames you use at the start are very important. You need to be thinking, because obviously what we project is massive. And so the mindset that you really need to have is your coaching will be worth way more than what you're charging and will benefit the prospect. And if that's the case, it's your responsibility and duty to make the sale. And so this script's quite powerful and it should only be used on prospects who would benefit from your service. So please use it ethically. And the old way is if we avoid sales calls, what happens? No sales, right? Or maybe you do pushy sales calls. Like I've been on a couple of sales calls, not me doing them, but other people doing them to me, where people are really pushy. It's awful, right? I hate being on pushy sales calls. It's awful. So you don't want to be that person. But I used to do a lot of this really soft sales calls where you're the Mr. Nice guy, right? You don't want to offend anyone. And what happens? You never challenge their thinking and help them get past their story, right? And the old result is if you avoid sales calls, no sales, few paid clients, and you probably end up in that 50% who quit after the first year. If you push too hard though, or in the wrong way, you upset people and they ghost you, they never speak to you again. Or if you're too soft on the phone, you buy their objections and you don't make sales, and it also wastes a lot of your time. I went through a phase where I did 39 sales calls in a row that were all no's. That was about 50 hours of my life I'll never get back. It was awful, right? I never want you guys to experience that. It was horrible. The new way is it's really heart-centered, it's value-based, and it's powerfully influential, where you give heaps of value on the call and use language in a way that influences people at the subconscious level. And if you can do that, your prospects will sell themselves and it will feel effortless to make sales. So, oh, I need to ask first, who's keen to see how we do this? And this is one of the most valuable tasks you can do in your business. All right, amazing. So the connection call script. Okay, step number one, introduce yourself and say why you're calling, right? Build rapport, match and mirror, find some commonality. Super important, right? Now, I always have a powerful pre-frame in here I use with people, and this is super important. If you learn nothing else from tonight, I'm going to give you this piece of value. It is amazing. So I'd write this down. I always ask people at the start, is it okay if I ask you some questions to find out how I can support you to achieve your goals? And people usually say, yeah, great, right? And then I say, is it okay if I show at the end, I show you my program? And if you're interested, amazing. And if you're not, that's amazing too. That one question, right, gives you permission to sell, right? It also builds curiosity about what your program's going to look like. If you don't cue people into the fact you're going to show your program at the end and you go to pitch, you actually trigger the fight, flight, freeze, right? And they'll shut down. But if you come at it from that angle, like, is it cool if I show you what I do? If you're interested, amazing. If you're not, cool, right? It builds curiosity. People want to see your program and your offer, right? Pretty cool, eh? Next step, you want to find out where they are and where they want to be, right? Where they are, where they want to be. And you want to find the gap in the middle by identifying the problems and challenges. Now, this is what separates a good coach, well, and a not so good coach. Because let's say someone comes to you and says, oh, I'm overweight is my problem, right? A not so good coach will go, oh, great, here's a diet, right? The overweight is just a symptom, it's not the problem, right? A good coach will actually find out what the problem is on the call and pitch to the problem, not the symptom. Does that make sense? So the overweight might come from trauma, which is the root cause, and that's what needs to be dealt with. It might come from a fear. It might come from a limiting belief. It might come from values, right? We don't know though if we don't ask the right questions. So find out where they are and find out where they want to be and find out what the actual block is. And our program is targeting that block to solve the problem, right? Then we identify the financial and emotional cost of the problem. We give social proof if we have any. We tell our relatability story. Then, this is the important part. We don't just talk about our program. We talk about how our program is going to solve that specific problem, right? Then we ask what their commitment level to change is, and then we tell them the price and we close. Amazing. Okay, so this is the start, right? First, we want to be posting niche specific content, using the message connection formula to inbox people on social media. Then we want to do the connection call, right? And you can easily get to 10K per month in less than 4 months without spending any money on paid ads. But this is the start, right? This is just one of many lead generation strategies. I've also got a process to nurture leads who aren't ready to buy. So as soon as they're ready, you become the first choice. But in order to do that, first you need the right niche, the right offer, and the right messaging. That's why I went through that at the start. So we've got two other lead gen sources that are the engine of our lead gen strategy. Have you guys had enough, or do you want to know what they are? You had enough because it's nearly my bedtime. Let us, John's keen. Yep. Okay. You twisted my rubber arm. All right. Make some noise. Give me some energy. Give me some energy. It's almost time to drop Rocco on the slideshow again. And there he is. This is how my clients are booking 6 to 12 calls per week using 2 Facebook group strategies. All right. So let's say you've got a $1,500 program that you're selling. What you want to do is try and grow your group by 10 to 50 people every week. And from those 10 to 50 people, you want the right induction process where you're offering value, starting a conversation, and getting people onto book calls. And it's quite easy to make 2 to 4 sales per week. And so I'm going to show you the elements now of what a good Facebook group look like. First, you want a niche specific group name. Like if you've just got a really generic name, you're not going to get buy-in. So I built my Facebook group for teachers. It went from 10 members to 390 members in about a month. And that was because I had a good niche specific group name. It was called Teacher Wellbeing and Self-Care, right? Teachers knew exactly what they were getting in there. And I used their language. Teachers love the word well-being. They love it. It's like catnip for teachers. And so the group name was good. Then it had the right pre-entry questions. So when they joined first, it asked, what's their biggest challenge in well-being at the moment? It also asked things like, um, what are they, how long have they been a teacher? That kind of thing. And it also asked for their email address, right? It's good to get people's email address because then they can get onto your email marketing list. So you want the right pre-entry questions. Then when people join your group, you want a system for inducting them. You want to be able to send them a welcome message that offers them value. Um, and then from that value, ask the right questions to find out their challenges and blocks and offers a free call, right? Then you want the right posting system in there. You don't just want call to actions all the time. You want to provide value. You want to build community. You want to engage, entertainment. And then about 1 out of every 5 do a good offer. You want community engagement. You want people commenting, having fun, posting themselves. So you get them to introduce themselves. You might get them to one of the things teachers used to love in my group was I used to have describe how your term is going using a GIF. They used to love that one. People would do like roller coasters on fire and stuff, and then I knew who my audience was. I could target and that sort of stuff. Um, you want to post the right offers, and then you want the right messaging system and emailing system to have people book calls. So here are some examples of what I did. The first one is in my group when I used to do teacher wellbeing and self-care. So I started off with a poll and said, what's the biggest challenge you're facing in teaching at the moment? Because I want to help write content that will help, right? And work-life balance was the big one. So I was like, great. So I did 2 weeks worth of posting where I really targeted work-life balance, boundaries, etc. Really primed them. Once they were primed, I dropped this post. I've created a guide on how to set effective boundaries at work, giving 5 away for 12 hours only. 38 people commented. Pretty good from a group of 300, right? From that, we had a conversation. I booked 10 sales calls from that one post, right? Pretty amazing. If you can find the right groups, you can also use this formula in other people's groups as well. That's what I did in this other post. Who would like a free 10-minute mini course to learn the formula I used to write one Facebook post that booked 30 calls? High perceived value, low perceived time investment, scarcity, and urgency. Have a look at that. 135 comments. So many people wanted that free training that I actually got blocked from Messenger. It was pretty wild. I sent too many messages. But the ironic thing was, it was actually a training to do posts like this because this was the post that booked me 30 calls, which is even funnier. I love the irony in that, which is great. So yeah, example of used well. Now I'm going to talk about, and this is my favorite lead gen. It's my absolute favorite. Most months, this makes me anywhere between 15 and 25 grand, just this one. So who's excited for this one? Make some noise. Let's get excited. It's also one of my favorite Rocco pictures I've got for this one. All right. It's LinkedIn. LinkedIn explosion client generation formula. Who uses LinkedIn in here? Does anyone use LinkedIn? Few people. LinkedIn is the best. And one of the reasons it's the best is a lot of coaches don't use it, right? They're scared of it. That's one reason. Another one is LinkedIn is great because most people on LinkedIn have a job, right? So they can afford to pay for our services, which is also great. Lots of people on Facebook, particularly if you're in low vibration groups, aren't your ideal client, right? People on LinkedIn are generally go-getters. They want change. They want mindset work. They want to improve. And so LinkedIn is amazing. Also, people are really open to conversations and networking and building their networks on LinkedIn. So it's a great way to start. And Facebook, LinkedIn is like Facebook used to be. You can send 200 connections a week on LinkedIn. Facebook, you would get blocked for that, right? You can send unlimited messages on LinkedIn. Facebook, you get blocked after so many. So LinkedIn is amazing. And so that's what I was talking about before with working out where your target species of fish are. Most species of fish live on LinkedIn. You've just got to be specific, and I'll show you how to do that in a sec. So let's say you've got a $1,500 coaching program. My VA tells me the sweet spot is 40 connections a day because you can do 40 Monday to Friday and then you're blocked and you can't do any new connections until Monday again. When I used to do it myself, I used to do 50 a day because then I could have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off and I'd be unblocked again on Monday. So you can target 50 connections a day. You should be getting about 8 to 15 connections back. And when you start a conversation with those 8 to 15 connections, you can actually book 1 to 3 calls a day just from this strategy, right? It is wild. So this is where you link the connection message formula we were talking about before with this LinkedIn lead gen formula. And so the important thing though is that you want to be using this strategy. You want your page to be niche specific and you want it to be professionally branded. So like if you're sending connection message requests to people and then 50% of them look at your page, right, and your page looks terrible, they're not going to connect back. You want it to look professional. You want it to be professionally branded. You also want your content to be niche specific and you want it to follow the right posting schedule. You want people to look at your content and see great value there. Then you want to find the right targeted people, use the right connection message, and now you can actually get AI to scan people's profiles and come up with personalized messages. You can use the right chat sequences to book calls. You can use the right processes to find their email address, get them on a call, and use the sales script we talked about before to turn them into a client. And so a really good tip is customize and personalize your connection requests. So you can use the add note feature. When you do that, your request rate will go up. And then if you can try and use second degree network connections, which I'll show you how to do in a sec, it's like friend of a friend, you'll get a way higher connection rate doing that way. If you've got low connections at the start though, you might have to do third degree. And so step number 1 is you want to be searching in the people bar here. And if you know what type of jobs your audience does, you can search for the job title in there, right? Then you want to filter and go to second degree connections. And from there, you can filter location as well. You can also filter company size and that sort of stuff. Now, one of the limits LinkedIn has recently put up is you can only send so many personalized connections each week until you have to get LinkedIn Premium. Does anyone in here already have LinkedIn Premium? A couple of people. I've actually got a code I can give to people where you can actually get 6 months LinkedIn Premium for 99 US dollars. It's pretty amazing. If anyone's interested in that, I can drop it in the chat now. Basically, what happens is you buy it, they send you a link to click on, you click on it, and it applies your account for 6 months. There's also cheap Canva in there as well. I think it's 39 US dollars a year. So if anyone's interested, that's in the chat. You don't have to do it, but I just like saving people money, right? Because I was paying $101 a month for LinkedIn Premium. Oh, sorry, that's the Zoom link. We'll get into here with that. Sorry. You're right. That's the link. Thanks, Jeremy. Um, Amazing. And so that should be in the chat now. Now, this is just a start, right? Because you guys have shown you're really committed. I want to show you how you can ensure you've got the fundamentals in place, get access to my copy and paste scripts and templates, as well as have myself or a member of my team look over your current situation and give you the exact next steps to take for success. Whether it's just a few more clients or you want to get to 10K per month, whatever it is, I'm certain I can help you. And no, not going to be asking you to pull out your credit card. It's going to be free. So you've got 2 choices. The first one is you can be like this dude. This was me trying to do it all myself. Sometimes you get the wheelbarrow up. Most of the time it ends up tipping over the side because it's unpredictable and limited because you spend all your time doing trial and error. The other option is you can learn a proven and tested method to grow your coaching business to 10K plus per month without spending a dollar on paid ads. Because over the next few days, I've set aside some time to talk and see if we can help. And so we talk for about 45 minutes. We'll map out an exact action plan for you to follow so you can successfully grow your coaching business just like I have. And together, we'll take a look at your current coaching business or your idea. We'll break down your goals and reverse engineer a step-by-step action plan to help you achieve whatever goal you want. I'll also provide you with tactical and practical strategies that you can just implement straight away. And so we really want to create a plan because once you've got a plan and clarity, you can just take the action and do the steps. And you might ask, why am I doing this? because afterwards, if you want to me to personally work with you to grow your coaching business, and if I think it's a good fit, we might invite you to become one of the new clients we take on. And if that's the case, we just walk you through what it would look like and take you through an overview of the program that's designed to get you 10 to 15 high ticket coaching clients every month and build a mass tribe following. And we would expect your coaching business to reach 10K per month in less than 4 months. And basically, two things would happen, right? Either you'll love the plan and you'll implement it on your own. And if that's the case, I'll just wish you the best of luck and just ask that you stay in touch with me to let me know how it's going. Or option two is you'll love the plan and you'll ask to become one of my clients so I can personally help you execute, maximize, and profit from it. And if that's the case, we'll crush it. And that's my promise. Every single one of my clients gets results. It's really that simple and there's no catch. And so on this free 45-minute call with myself, we'll show you how you can get to 10K per month in less than 4 months using our system. Um, and so if you're interested, there's a QR code on the screen and I'll just put the link in the chat as well. Amazing. Awesome. And so these fill up very fast. So awesome. The other thing is I've got a free Facebook group. The QR code's there if you'd like to join. And we've got some Q&A. So does anyone have any questions I'd like to ask about tonight's training? I'd also be keen for some feedback. What are some things you've particularly enjoyed or what's something you're going to implement straight away? Oh, the Facebook QR code. There you go. Amazing. Any questions or anything where LinkedIn, is that what great, Alison? Yeah, LinkedIn's a gold mine. I love it. I used to hate it, but I love it now. Definitely get really good quality leads off there, which is good. You like, yeah, amazing, Simon. Thanks. It doesn't have to be John. Doesn't have to be. It feels like a big iceberg sometimes, doesn't it?
So,
Yep.
this is Betsaida. I just have a question that perhaps you can help me to find an answer to this. You know that I have written a book and my book is going to be published very soon. And as you were mentioning about leads and to open leads and to deliver leads for more success, um, it is relevant for me to wait for to have the hard copies of my book to start building up business, coaching business.
Yep.
So do you think that is relevant to have that physical book copy on my hands?
Um, Sorry, I missed a part of that. My volume's not great.
Do you think that it is vital for me to have the hard copy
A
of
hard,
my book? Yeah.
um, I mean, it depends what your goal is. Is your goal to sell your book or is your goal to work with people?
I want to sell my book and I want to use that
Absolutely.
book as a tool to lead as a lead to coaching, offer coaching.
Look, I'm happy if you want, we could go through some strategies on that call to work out
Yeah,
how to do that if that works. Happy to
that
do that.
sounds great.
Because then I
Yeah.
could get into a bit more detail about exactly what your book's about and how we could use
Okay,
it to leverage.
sounds great.
Amazing. That might be a bit easier.
Yeah, thank you, Rosie.
No, no worries. I've also got some common kind of questions I get. So
Yes.
lots of people ask me about their niche if they don't know their niche. One of the things I do is give clarity about that, clarity and direction.
Mhm.
Um, people always ask me about website, right? I wouldn't recommend spending a lot of time or energy on a website early, and I definitely wouldn't recommend paid ads. Paid ads are only good when you've got your offer right first, because if you start doing ads, you're just throwing people at an untested offer. So if you can sell your offer organically, paid ads can help boost that, but I wouldn't do paid ads to start with. Also, paid ads can be very expensive very quickly. Um, some people ask me they're not a coach, they have a different type of business. Will they still get value? 100% lead gen is lead gen. See you, Massimo. Gonna be good. And some people say I'm not a coach yet and want to get trained. I can also help people with that as well. I've got some options or could discuss things too. So yeah, 48 hours left to book. If there's any other questions, let me know. But yeah, it's been a pleasure tonight and hopefully you've got lots of value. And yeah, amazing. I see some people have already booked calls, which is amazing. And if not, hopefully you've got lots of value out of tonight. Yeah, awesome.
Russell, I just wanted to say, firstly, thanks. That was like an epic training session. I got so much out of that. So thank you so much.
No worries.
I think what I love about what you were doing as well is that you're having a really important conversation that needs to be had, especially in the coaching industry and AI. And I love what you said before about, you know, if you're in the coaching industry, AI is a tool, right?
Hmm.
And if you know, it's not there to be, it's not there to be sort of to take over
Yeah,
threat, but it is a key tool.
it
And
is. Yeah.
and I think from tonight, what was really clear, the message that I got loud and clear, was, how can I, my business, really leverage AI? And I think
Yes.
it's also an important conversation as a solopreneur because most of us that are in the coaching industry, we are sole traders, we're on
Hmm.
our own. And if I was to pay somebody
Yes.
in marketing or anything like that, especially as I'm starting out, if
Yeah.
I'm then paying experts or paying trainers or anything like that, then, that becomes quite the expense.
It
So
does. It
I
does.
just wanted to say thank you because it's a very, again, it's a really important conversation. I think that we should be having as coaches how we do that. So I just wondered how you're in light of all of that. Um, Maybe just a little bit about your AI journey. I know you've
Oh
sort of
yeah.
said a bit, but just maybe something
No,
about
good
the
good
journey.
question. Um, I massively avoided AI to start with. I massively avoided it. I was really anti doing my content through AI, really anti basically using it at all. And it wasn't until I reframed how I was going to use it in my head. It's not replacing me, it's just amplifying me and doing the little back end tasks and stuff that's just repetitive, time consuming tasks. So, automations, like I know a lot of you guys tonight would have received emails, texts from me. That's all automated using AI. So, you can automate a whole lot of back end stuff like that using through your CRMs. Um, so there's that aspect of automation and AI, but AI can also it's like a sounding board as well. So you can use it to kind of throw ideas out, get feedback, test, tweak, see what's working, see what's good, see what's not good. Um, and then you can also train it to I suppose, generate ideas that are similar to your values and core ideas as well. And so you can get it to align with you and use your branding and your mission, if that makes sense.
Mm, no.
So it's more about getting AI to be aligned with you and and amplifying what you do rather than AI being you and being robotic. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries. Any other quick questions or no? Amazing. Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure having you guys. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you guys killing it shortly on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Amazing. Take care, everyone, and have an amazing rest of your night.
Thanks, Ross.
Thank you.
Thanks, likewise.
Cheers. Have a good evening.
Cheers.
Yeah. Bye.
Chasing all them green lights, throwing up the shade for a little bit of sunshine. Hitting with them good vibes, pictures on my phone lights. Everything is so fine, little bit of sunshine. Crazy.